So you push back against what are called AI doomers a lot. Can you explain their perspective and why you think they're wrong?
Okay, so AI doomers imagine all kinds of catastrophe scenarios of how AI could escape our control and basically kill us all. And that relies on a whole bunch of assumptions that are mostly false. So the first assumption is that the emergence of superintelligence is going to be an event. That at some point we're going to figure out the secret and we'll turn on a machine that is super intelligent. And because we'd never done it before, it's going to take over the world and kill us all. That is false. It's not going to be an event. We're going to have systems that are like as smart as a cat, have all the characteristics of human level intelligence, but their level of intelligence would be like a cat or a parrot maybe or something. And then we're going to work our way up to kind of make those things more intelligent. And as we make them more intelligent, we're also going to put some guardrails in them and learn how to kind of put some guardrails so they behave properly. And we're not going to do this with just one. It's not going to be one effort. It's going to be lots of different people doing this. And some of them are going to succeed at making intelligent systems that are controllable and safe and have the right guardrails. And if some other goes rogue, then we can use the good ones to go against the rogue ones. So it's going to be my smart AI police against your rogue AI. So it's not going to be like, we're going to be exposed to like a single rogue AI that's going to kill us all. That's just not happening. Now, there is another fallacy, which is the fact that because a system is intelligent, it necessarily wants to take over. Mm-hmm. And there is several arguments that make people scared of this, which I think are completely false as well. So one of them is, in nature, it seems to be that the more intelligent species are the ones that end up dominating the other, and even extinguishing the others, sometimes by design, sometimes just by mistake. And so there is sort of thinking by which you say, well, if AI systems are more intelligent than us, surely they're going to eliminate us, if not by design, simply because they don't care about us. And that's just preposterous for a number of reasons. First reason is they're not going to be a species. They're not going to be a species that competes with us. They're not going to have the desire to dominate, because the desire to dominate is something that has to be hardwired into an intelligent system. It is hardwired in humans. It is hardwired in baboons, in chimpanzees, in wolves, not in orangutans. The species in which this desire to dominate or submit or attain status in other ways is specific to social species. Non-social species like orangutans don't have it, right? And they are as smart as we are, almost, right?
And to you, there's not significant incentive for humans to encode that into the AI systems. And to the degree they do, there'll be other AIs that sort of punish them for it, outcompete them over.
Well, there's all kinds of incentive to make AI systems submissive to humans.
Right.
Right? I mean, this is the way we're going to build them, right? And so then people say, oh, but look at LLMs. LLMs are not controllable. And they're right. LLMs are not controllable. But objective-driven AI, so systems that derive their answers by optimization of an objective, means they have to optimize this objective, and that objective can include guardrails. One guardrail is obey humans. Another guardrail is don't obey humans if it's hurting other humans within limits.
I've heard that before somewhere. I don't remember.
Yes. Maybe in a book.
Yeah. But speaking of that book, could there be unintended consequences also from all of this?
No, of course. So this is not a simple problem, right? I mean, designing those guardrails so that the system behaves properly is not going to be a simple issue for which there is a silver bullet, for which you have a mathematical proof that the system can be safe. It's going to be a very progressive, iterative design system where we put those guardrails in such a way that the system behaves properly. And sometimes they're going to do something that was unexpected because the guardrail wasn't right, and we're going to correct them so that they do it right. The idea somehow that we can't get it slightly wrong, because if we get it slightly wrong, we all die, is ridiculous. We're just going to go progressively, and it's just going to be the analogy I've used many times is turbojet design. How did we figure out how to make turbojets so unbelievably reliable, right? I mean, those are like incredibly complex pieces of hardware that run at really high temperatures for 20 hours at a time sometimes, and we can fly halfway around the world with on a 2-engine jetliner at near the speed of sound. Like, how incredible is this? It's just unbelievable, right? And did we do this because we invented like a general principle of how to make turbojets safe? No, it took decades to kind of fine tune the design of those systems so that they were safe. Is there a separate group within General Electric or SNECMA or whatever that is specialized in turbojet safety? No, the design is all about safety, because a better turbojet is also a safer turbojet. So a more reliable one. It's the same for AI. Like, do you need specific provisions to make AI safe? No, you need to make better AI systems, and they will be safe because they are designed to be more useful and more controllable.
So let's imagine a system, AI system, that's able to be incredibly convincing and can convince you of anything. I can at least imagine such a system. And I can see such a system be weapon-like, because it can control people's minds. We're pretty gullible. We want to believe a thing, and you can have an AI system that controls it. And you could see governments using that as a weapon. So do you think, if you imagine such a system, there's any parallel to something like nuclear weapons?
No.
So why is that technology different? So you're saying there's going to be gradual development.
Yeah.
There's going to be, I mean, it might be rapid, but it'll be iterative, and then we'll be able to kind of respond and so on.
So that AI system designed by Vladimir Putin or whatever, or his minions, is going to be like trying to talk to every American to convince them to vote for whoever pleases Putin,
Sure,
or whatever, or rile people up against each other, as they've been trying to do. They're not going to be talking to you. They're going to be talking to your AI assistant, which is going to be as smart as theirs, right? That AI, because as I said, in the future, every single one of your interaction with the digital world will be mediated by your AI assistant. So the first thing you're going to ask is this a scam?
Yeah.
Like, is this thing like telling me the truth? Like, it's not even going to be able to get to you, because it's only going to talk to your AI assistant. And your AI assistant is not even going to, it's going to be like a spam filter, right? You're not even seeing the email, the spam email, right? It's automatically put in a folder that you never see. It's going to be the same thing. That AI system that tries to convince you of something is going to be talking to your AI assistant, which is going to be at least as smart as it. And is going to say, this is spam, it's not even going to bring it to your attention.
So to you, it's very difficult for any one AI system to take such a big leap ahead to where it can convince even the other AI systems. So like there's always going to be this kind of race where nobody's way ahead.
That's the history of the world. History of the world is, whenever there is a progress someplace, there is a countermeasure. And it's a cat and mouse game.
Well, this is why, mostly yes, but this is why nuclear weapons are so interesting, because that was such a powerful weapon that it mattered who got it first. That, you could imagine Hitler, Stalin, Mao getting the weapon first, and that having a different kind of impact on the world than the United States getting the weapon first.
Yeah.
But to you, nuclear weapons is like, you don't imagine a breakthrough discovery and then Manhattan Project-like effort for AI.
No. As I said, it's not going to be an event. It's going to be, continuous progress. And And whenever one breakthrough occurs, it's going to be widely disseminated really quickly.
Yeah.
Probably first within industry. I mean, this is not a domain where government or military organizations are particularly innovative, and they're in fact way behind.
Yeah.
And so this is going to come from industry, and this kind of information disseminates extremely quickly. We've seen this over the last few years, right? Where you have a new, even take AlphaGo. This was reproduced within 3 months, even without particularly detailed information, right?
Yeah, this is an industry that's not good at secrecy.
No,
Like
but
people-
even if there is, just the fact that that something is possible, makes you realize that it's worth investing the time to actually do it. You may be the second person to do it, but you'll do it. And same for all the innovations of self-supervised learning, transformers, decoder-only architectures, LLMs. I mean, those things, you don't need to know exactly the details of how they work to know that it's possible, because it's deployed and then it's getting reproduced. And then people who work for those companies move. They go from one company to another. And the information disseminates. What makes the success of the US tech industry and Silicon Valley in particular is exactly that. Is because information circulates really, really quickly, and disseminates very quickly. And so the whole region sort of is ahead because of that circulation of information.
So maybe just to linger on the psychology of AI doomers, you give in the classic Yann LeCun way a pretty good example of just when a new technology comes to be. You say, engineer says, I invented this new thing. I call it a ball pen. And then the Twitter sphere responds, OMG, people could write horrible things with it, like misinformation, propaganda, hate speech, ban it now. Then writing doomers come in, akin to the AI doomers. Imagine if everyone can get a ball pen. This could destroy society. There should be a law against using ball pen to write hate speech. Regulate ball pens now. And then the pencil industry mogul says, yeah, ball pens are very dangerous. Unlike pencil writing, which is erasable, ball pen writing stays forever. Government should require a license for a pen manufacturer. I mean, this does seem to be part of human psychology when it comes up against new technology. So what deep insights can you speak to about this?
Well, there is a natural fear of new technology and the impact it can have on society, and people have kind of instinctive reaction to the world they know being threatened by major transformations that are either cultural phenomena or technological revolutions. And they fear for their culture, they fear for their job, they fear for their the future of their children, and their way of life, right? So any change is feared, and you see this along history. Like any technological revolution or cultural phenomenon was always accompanied by groups or reaction in the media that basically attributed all the problems, the current problems of society, to that particular change, right? Electricity was going to kill everyone at some point. The train was going to be a horrible thing because you can't breathe past 50 kilometers an hour. And so there's a wonderful website called the Pessimist Archive,
Great.
which has all those newspaper clips of all the horrible things people imagine would arrive because of either a technological innovation or a cultural phenomenon. There's this wonderful examples of jazz or comic books being blamed for unemployment or young people not wanting to work anymore and things like that, right? And that has existed for centuries. And it's knee-jerk reactions. The question is, do we embrace change? or do we resist it? And what are the real dangers as opposed to the imagined ones?
So people worry about, I think one thing they worry about with big tech, something we've been talking about over and over, but I think worth mentioning again, they worry about how powerful AI will be, and they worry about it being in the hands of one centralized power, of just a handful of central control. And so that's the skepticism with big tech. These companies can make a huge amount of money and control this technology, and by so doing, take advantage, abuse the little guy in society.
Well, that's exactly why we need open source platforms.
Yeah, I just wanted to nail the point home more and more.
Yes.
So let me ask you on your, like I said, you do get a little bit flavorful on the internet. Yosha Bach tweeted something that you LOL'd at in reference to HAL 9000. Quote, I appreciate your argument and I fully understand your frustration, but whether the pod bay doors should be opened or closed is a complex and nuanced issue. So you're at the head of Meta AI. This is something that really worries me, that our AI overlords will speak down to us with corporate speak of this nature. And you sort of resist that with your way of being. Is this something you can just comment on, sort of working at a big company, how you can avoid the over-fearing, I suppose, through caution create harm?
Yeah. Again, I think the answer to this is open source platforms and then enabling a widely diverse set of people to build AI assistants that represent the diversity of cultures, opinions, languages, and value systems across the world, so that you're not bound to just be brainwashed by a particular way of thinking because of a single AI entity. I think it's a really, really important question for society. And the problem I'm seeing is that, which is why I've been so vocal and sometimes a little sardonic about it.
Never stop. Never stop, Yann. We'll love it.
Is because I see the danger of this concentration of power through proprietary AI systems as a much bigger danger than everything else. That if we really want, diversity of opinion, AI systems that, in this future where we'll all be interacting through AI systems, we need those to be diverse for the preservation of diversity of ideas and, creeds and political opinions and whatever, and the preservation of democracy. And what works against this is people who think that for reasons of security, we should keep AI systems under lock and key because it's too dangerous to put it in the hands of everybody, because it could be used by terrorists or something. That would lead to, potentially a very bad future in which all of our information diet is controlled by a small number of companies through proprietary systems.
Do you trust humans with this technology to build systems that are, on the whole, good for humanity?
Isn't that what democracy and free speech is all about?
I think so.
Do you trust institutions to do the right thing? Do you trust people to do the right thing? And yeah, there's bad people who are going to do bad things, but they're not going to have superior technology to the good people. So then it's going to be my good AI against your bad AI, right? I mean, there's the examples that we were just talking about of, maybe some rogue country will build, some AI system that's going to try to convince everybody to go into a civil war or something, or elect a favorable ruler, and but then they will have to go past our AI systems.
Right. An AI system with a strong Russian accent will be trying to convince our
And doesn't put any articles in their sentences.
Well, it'll be at the very least absurdly comedic.